In this episode, I'm joined by Markéta Kristlova, brand equity lead at Müller UK in Ireland, one of the UK's favourite dairy brands. With 15 years in FMCG, Markéta's experience includes marketing roles at Mondelez, working on global brands such as Cadbury. In 2023, Muller announced the launch of a new masterbrand strategy, reminding consumers that 30 years after the brand first launched in the UK, there is still a Muller hero product for everyone. Markéta joins me to talk about why she believes a strong brand and visual identity can drive success and why it's important for marketeers to put customers first, stay agile, and adapt to changing market needs. Welcome, Markéta. Markéta, thanks very much for coming along. Pleasure to have you here. Now, usually when we do these podcasts, what we start off with is just asking the guests, just explain a bit about themselves, sort of their career path, where they've come from, and just your general background. So over to you.
Thank you. And thanks a lot for having me today.
No, not at all.
I'm originally from Prague, so maybe you can hear it from my accent. I'm sure you can. And actually, I started my career there as a marketing trainee working on Jacob's brand in craft foods. And I stayed with the company for 13 years. There were happening a lot of changes, which was very exciting. So it changed its name. So now it's Mondelez. I was working in small markets, large markets, on local jewels brands like global brands as Milka or Cadbury, moved the countries within the company. So I moved from Prague to Germany where I was working for 1 year and then to the UK Actually, I've been living in London, I think now for 6 years. It's become home. And stayed with the company for 13 years and really liked it. But then I was looking for a change because I feel very passionate about brand strategy and doing things differently, trying new things, experimenting, learning, and changed and became the Muller brand equity lead, which it's my current role.
Okay.
And before that, I had also short experience with agency work, which I believe helped me a lot in my current role. So I worked for 1 year for Wunderman digital agency last year at uni. And then I had brief short agency placement with VCCP when I was still on Cadbury. And actually, which helped me in my current role because we are, let's say VCCP is my creative agency and we are one team. So it helped with the relationship.
Very good. That's excellent. Yeah, when you came in with Muller, in terms of because obviously, it's been in the UK for several decades. Yeah. So in terms of what you found in terms of the marketing strategy, what was the key challenges, your key priorities when you came into the role for thinking about what you needed to do in terms of the Muller brand and increase its not even recognition, but just increase its success in the UK?
So actually before I joined, there was no equity team. So it was newly created role by Toby Bevans, marketing director. And he gave me one-line brief, which was how to return Muller brand back to greatness, to be in every fridge. So for a bit of context, Muller brand or business has been declining for decades. So it lost, I think, 6 million households. So it went from high 70s of penetration to 50s. It also the brand lacked a bit of meaning for consumers. So that was the brief which I was given. And in terms of the key priorities was to define Muller master brand strategy, to define what Muller brand stands for consumers, means for consumers, what we wanted to mean for consumers, to create the new Muller brand word and visual identity system, to create a new creative platform and also organize all portfolio of sub-brands into cohesive system with clarity on what's their distinct role in the portfolio and how it ladders up back to master brand.
Well, okay.
So that was a bit of broad brief.
No, but I like the idea that it's literally a one-liner. In terms of, just very simple and straightforward.
Yeah.
So that's superb. And the master brand strategy. So obviously that's key.
Yeah.
To what you've done within Muller, and tell us a little bit more about that. How you began to build that out, also as well, maybe some of the challenges that you faced, the development and so forth. Yeah, how was the progression sort of that?
So it was a bit of white canvas, which was exciting and terrifying at once. And it required us to make brave decision because let's say Muller in the past was focusing more on product marketing and launching a lot of innovations. We had the partnership with British Athletics.
Okay.
So we called it like out with new and in with old, with fresh twist to tap into what's familiar for consumers, what they remember from childhood for Muller, and to revive that, let's say, the love for the brand.
Yeah.
Then it also like requires to deal very much with ambiguity because we were asked to deliver everything in quite record time. So I started end of 2022 and the ask was to be out there live with equity communication in summer 23. So within 6 months.
Yeah.
So we were, So it was like it required us to move like really fast-paced and work very closely with the whole cross-agency team, VCCP, Essence Mediacom and Bulletproof, and holding hands. And like, as I said, like really deal with ambiguity, making decisions based on combination of like available data we were having at that point, but also like our intuition to move at pace. And we were sometimes joking that it was like driving a train while, let's say, putting rails underneath because we were building brand while defining the fundamentals. So that was actually like, it was challenging, but also like exciting because I don't think you have very often this opportunity to join quite, let's say, the brand with relatively long history, but with like being white canvas to actually define its future.
And also as well, in some ways, when you come from that position that you said in terms of the decline in households, you know, gone from 70% plus to in the 50s. It's also, it is a challenge, but it is an opportunity, you know, in some ways, because those sorts of declines force a different way of thinking, but also as well, it forces more openness into what people are prepared and the risks they're prepared to take. So, and obviously this is something which is more of a longer term strategy when you look in terms of the master brands. And of course, if you're company management, if you're sitting up at the CEO, CFO level, there's often a temptation just to think about what exactly are the short term. You're always looking, you want, as it were, the immediate hit, but often these things take a long time to come through. So how did you manage to get across the message to people further up the chain that this strategy may take time to come through and that therefore what was needed was patience rather than just thinking, okay, there needs to be a short-term boost to sales, but which may be detrimental in the longer term?
So what we did was like to really have like the clear story why we are doing that. I think I believe it's important to really like align with your stakeholders what you want to reach, what's the target destination, like using the proof points which are out there to demonstrate that actually it makes sense to invest in a brand. So we were using the Kantar brand framework to demonstrate that it's like both effective and efficient, and it's like it will really pay off, while of course providing reassurance on the way. So we were doing like validation with the consumers and like demonstrating that we are on the right path. But of course, it's in human nature to be impatient, and if business is in decline for last decade, people and senior stakeholders want to see the results very quickly. So it's also like important to buy yourself a bit of time while working on this like more like meaty challenge. So we also like what we did before we, let's say, launched the master brand strategy. We also like reviewed the portfolio of our sub-brands and started with the low-hanging fruit or like relatively low-hanging fruit to really like deliver the results short term, which was like the Corner Icon campaign, the out of home, which was launched end 2022, like this iconic split pot. Then also like the rice partnership with Declan Rice, which helped us to deliver short-term results and actually to kind of like to to drive trust that the long-term results will come.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I don't think it would work, because I don't think people are patient to wait for 1 year for the results to arrive.
I know, and that's actually very interesting you say that, because it's often with these sorts of things, there can be a temptation to divide these things up into black and white. Do you go long-term or short-term? But actually, as you say, your approach is more shades of grey.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it, you realise that you need to balance the short term. You are concentrated on the long term, but also as well, you need to deliver short term results as well. Yeah. Which then leads on to the next question so tell us about the results that you got from this change.
So the results I'm happy to say that the results are brilliant.
Yeah.
And we launched the new equity communication and the designs end of last year, or summer last year. The equity communication and design was hitting the shelves the second half of the last year. Uh-huh. And already end of last year, end of 2023, we were seeing positive results. So we stabilized the market share, also stabilized the penetration, which is really, it doesn't sound so amazing, but actually to stabilize something after 10 years of decline is great.
Yeah.
And also, then in terms of the Muller had the record at awareness ever, and highest consideration in November when we finished the equity communication. And I'm very pleased to say the growth momentum keeps going. So it's almost that we light up the fire, and now it's accelerating. So actually the combination of long and short, and the combination of building the brand while supporting the sub-brands is delivering the results, because beginning this year we are looking at growing market share, growing penetration, we are growing value and volume. The corner is the biggest contributor for the category growth and growing double digit, and we are growing again, Muller consideration and the brand image statements we want to own.
Okay.
So the results are brilliant, which is really good.
Yeah.
And helps also internally with confidence that we are on something which is right, which will help us to turn around, and that we will get to the vision, and we call it magic number, 70% of penetration.
Yeah, no.
In every fridge.
No, that's a great phrase to use. And as you say, I mean, it's as we were talking about before, when you come from a brand that has been declining and you can turn it around like that, I mean, that in a way, it's one thing, as it were, to continue a success where the momentum has been growing anyway, to actually turn it around from where it was and it reversed direction, is particularly impressive sort of on things.
Yeah.
So when you come up with your marketing strategy, can you just talk a little bit more about the research that you did to help inform sort of what your next step should be?
Of course.
Yeah,
we did. We spent a lot of time talking with consumers, but we did also ethnography, which helped us to discover 2 key insights which shape the whole strategy. The first one was that people feel a lot of love for Muller and let's say a lot of affection, but it's a bit of latent. So they describe it to us as a old sofa. They kind of they have a lot of fond memories, a lot of nostalgia, but they kind of don't know where to put it anymore. And then the second key insight was that everyone has their own very personal ritual, how they are eating Muller products. But what's a common thread for everyone is that they try to get every last bit of yogurt from the pot, because they really like that taste of it. So it actually inspired us for articulation, the creative platform, which is appreciate every last bit, which from consumer facing, the strapline is love every bit. Yeah. Which it's the sweet spot between the brand truth, the ritualistic immersive experience, because to eat Muller yogurt you need spoon, you need a couple of minutes, so you are actually forced to slow down, and human truth, because I assume I think that everyone is very busy nowadays, right? We have endless to-do list and a lot of tasks, and more looking, okay, what's kind of next big thing you can look forward to, which is whether it's birthday celebrations, holidays, Christmas. Yeah. But sometimes it's about those little things and that's the role of Muller. We would like to inspire people to appreciate every last bit of every moment and every product. So that was the sweet spot, which actually like inspired the communication, which was launched later, the 3 ads, and also like the brand word, which we call Happy Place.
Oh, okay. So you obviously did sort of quite detailed and quite sort of diverse sort of researching it into your strategy. And then how the data that you got back and you evaluated, how did that feed into your media strategy?
The media strategy was shaped both, let's say, by balancing long and short. Mm-hmm. So what's the right level of investment in terms of like across the comms model? Mm-hmm. We call it love, choose, buy. So ultimately following the funnel. Yeah. So love building, let's say, the love for the brand. Choose, ensuring that people are aware and they know that we have like a product for every need, driving the situational salience, and buy ultimately prompting them at the point of purchase to buy, to choose our products, to turn it into the sales and the growth. And in terms of the media channels, so we have quite varied media mix, but what we are trying to balance is like the high reach media with also like high attention media. Mm-hmm. So we have TV, but we have also like out of home, which plays the role. That's actually a very interesting channel because it plays the role across both love, choose, actually across all 3 pillars, love, choose and buy. Yeah. Because love is like building the brand iconicity, which was, for example, what I mentioned, the corner icon split pot campaign, end of 2022, or like Magic Eye when we, let's say, brought back Mississippi Mud Pie. Mm-hmm. Also like across choose to drive the situational salience for the sub-brand. So for example, with Muller Rice, let's say partnership with Declan Rice to communicate rice as it's not anymore like the old-fashioned dessert your grandma used to give you, but it's full-on snack. And the buy at point of sale, which is like the out-of-home close to point of sale. So ultimately when people go for shopping, there is a reminder. There is actually corner if you want sweet treat, or there is rice if you feel hungry, or like fridge if you crave milkshake.
Yeah. Oh, no. And as you say, I mean, it sounds though, again, from that again, it's quite a diverse media strategy that you've gone with it. And again, sort of the different data has got fed into different points as well. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, it's like, and now it's like, materializing the results because we also like recently got to the marketing mix modeling results. And we can see that actually the change, what we did in terms of the media strategy, like going from only like product media support to balancing both brand and products portfolio. It's like improving, I think almost like doubled the media contribution to sales.
Okay.
So it's proving to be working.
It's proving to be working. And proof is in the pudding? Okay, can we say that?
We can say that. Which is going back to what I said as a tip, like that if you trust something, it's right, go after it. Yeah. And the kind of like the results or like the proof points will arrive later. Yeah. Because we didn't know that when we launched, when we made the change.
Yeah, and now you do, and that can drive the strategy. Yeah. Okay, that's great. We always sort of end this with saying, what tips would you share with other marketeers from your experience? Yeah, whether that can be how you persuade the boards, how you persuade sort of senior managements of the need for investment in marketing, how to show the results, what are the best practical tips you can do for getting your message across. The floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you. So I think that I would have like 3 tips, which is like to be comfortable of being uncomfortable. Okay. And to really like see challenges as exciting opportunities, because as you said, like even though like something looks very negative, there is the opportunity, and it's just like to find that golden nugget. So for example, what we did, we really like spent a lot of time talking with consumers, like going into the archives or the assets we have for Muller, and just like understanding the brand, understanding what it means for consumers and so on. Yeah. And just like to find that golden nugget. Then the second tip would be to find great partners in crime, both internally and externally.
Yeah.
Because internally, it helps to have supporters. It helps to actually, let's say, it makes your life significantly easier. And externally, to let's say, to work on something like on brand turnaround, you need to have good agency partners. And I was like spending a lot of days, have like lot of meetings in person, having like interesting discussions, iterative process, and just like bouncing ideas with my agency partners to get where we are. And then the third tip would be like trust your instinct.
Okay.
Of course, you need to do your homework.
Yeah.
You kind of like, but I believe actually strongly that what makes the difference is a bit of art. And when something feels right, you are on something. So go after it. So even though if you don't have all the proof points, when you feel that something is right, you will actually you will discover the proof points along your way while you're working on it.
Okay, no, those are great tips. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much, Markéta. It's been great to have you.
Thank you
here, and it's been wonderful. No, not at all. And it's also been great as well just to hear how things have been so successful at Muller. So thank you.
Thank you.
No problem at all. Thank you, Markéta, for talking with me today. It's been great to hear about Muller's new masterbrand strategy, showing how combining a strong brand with a customer-focused approach could drive metrics and deliver short and long-term marketing goals. If there's anything you would like to ask us or hear more about, you can visit the JCDecaux Digital Changemakers Hub online. We hope you enjoyed listening. And wherever you get your podcasts, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.